Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll talk about a story that is making waves in both the world of antiques and reality TV. Mike Wolfe, who was famous for his role on the show American Pickers, was given an unexpected life sentence. The charges against him are not simple. He was accused of smuggling valuable antiques, manipulating the auction market, and being involved in the mysterious death of a historian. All of this has made many people wonder, is Mike Wolfe, who was once loved for his love of antiques, really the one who is really behind everything? Or is he just a victim of an underground force that is controlling the whole antiques collecting business? Let's look into this case more to find out the truth. Mike Wolfe, the famous host of American Pickers, is now the focus of a long, complicated, and mysterious investigation. What was once seen as a pure passion for cultural heritage is now overshadowed by serious accusations. It all began on June 17, 2023, when a neighbor in Bloomington, Indiana, called the police to report a strange smell coming from Professor Harold Clemens's basement. Professor Clemens was a veteran historian who taught at the University of Chicago and specialized in researching artifacts from the American Civil War. When the police arrived, they found Mr. Clemens dead on the ground holding a silver pocket watch, a detail that didn't seem important at the time. The engraving on the caseback, R. K. 187, Honor Not Glory, changed everything. A few days later, the Savannah National Museum sent out a memo warning that the watch was part of the Battlefield Legacy collection and had gone missing from storage in 2019. The disappearance was never made public for fear of scandal, but the fact that it suddenly showed up in the hands of a dead person has authorities asking a lot of questions. The real push came from an anonymous Reddit post by a user. GearGhost82 said they saw the exact watch in an unaired episode of American Pickers where Mike Wolfe visited a farm in Kentucky. The online community reacted quickly, and dozens of other people said they saw the same thing in a video that went viral on YouTube in 2021 before it was taken down. Some even said the watch was on display at Antique Archaeology in Nashville, which led to an investigation called Rust Rail, which was a joint effort between the FBI and the International Artifact Trafficking Task Force to find out if Mike Wolfe was involved in the illegal trade. A previously unseen video from the History Channel archives that was leaked by a former employee made things worse. In the video, Mike Wolfe is seen negotiating to buy an old military watch from a warehouse in Kentucky. His line, "I know this belonged to an officer, I'm not going to ask where you got it," is very telling. The sudden deals have made the police wonder if there's more to them. Mike Wolfe's link to Harold Clemens became clear at a history conference in 2017. Clemens said, "There are some artifacts that should not be sold. They carry a pain that no amount of money can heal." Even more shocking, Clemens emailed a close friend 3 days before he died, saying, "I think I have uncovered a series of shady transactions involving a well-known television personality. I am considering contacting the federal authorities." Even though the coroner's report didn't find any clear criminal elements in Clemens' death, the investigation quickly took a turn, and transactions, internal emails, and even items on display at Wolfe-related businesses were all looked at. To date, no formal charges have been filed, and Mike Wolfe has stayed silent. In the media, however, the image of the simple treasure hunter is being called into question at a time when the lines between passion, heritage, and business interests have never been more blurred. Mike Wolfe is now officially under special federal supervision, after a series of investigations related to organized artifact smuggling. What seemed like a small detail, a silver pocket watch, became the start of a series of shocking discoveries that shook up an antiques empire that had been in place for more than a decade. Suddenly, a watch showed up next to the body of famous historian Professor Harold Clemens. Federal investigators quickly looked over all episodes of American Pickers, and sent requests for internal records from the History Channel and the show's production company. During the review, the FBI found something strange. From 2020 to 2023, at least 40 items had been filmed but never aired on TV. Some of the items had receipts, but there was no clear record of where they were shipped, or there was the infamous pocket watch that went missing from the Savannah National Museum in 2019. The investigation, called Rust Rail, slowly uncovered the mysterious origins of transporting antiques. At first, the investigation team couldn't talk to Mike Wolfe directly, so they secretly followed Craig Selinas, who worked as a backstage assistant and logistics manager for the movie. During a 6-hour surveillance session in southern Missouri, Craig was caught driving a truck labeled Antiquities Archaeology to an empty warehouse that had no one there. The investigation team, with the help of local police, found a series of sealed wooden crates containing items from the 18th and 19th centuries. Among them were at least 3 artifacts that matched those stolen from a museum in Georgia. The FBI made a big breakthrough when they got search warrants for 2 private storage facilities registered under Time Vault Logistics LC, a shell company in which Mike Wolfe owned shares through 3 layers of financial intermediaries at the First Ohio warehouse. Found a lot of undocumented artifacts, including pistols from the Civil War, torn manuscripts, and a 3-foot tall Egyptian statue that matched items stolen from the Luxor Museum in 2011. The financial trail showed a complicated web. Mike Wolfe ran at least 5 small businesses in tax havens like Malta and the Cayman Islands with nearly $4 million in sales, $7 million in antiquities transactions between 2016 and 2023. One account in Wolfe's name in Switzerland received $150,000 from a person thought to be involved in the black market for artifacts in Aleppo, Syria. The network was so secretive and effective that no official crew member was in charge of transporting the artifacts. All deals were made through third parties, with contracts signed by hand using virtual fax apps and payments made in cash or cryptocurrency to try to keep things as simple as possible. To get into the network, the FBI went to a New Mexico antique shop that Wolfe often went to and set up a meeting with Mike, who was acting as a police officer on the night of December 3. Mike told the agent, "Not everything is for TV. Some things are for people who know what they're worth." As soon as the meeting ended, the FBI immediately searched 3 locations connected to the archaeological dig. In a secret warehouse in North Nashville, they found a handwritten encrypted list of 17 artifacts with their names, black market prices, and dates of sale. Along with the list, they found a personal notebook with scrawled notes, one of which said, "They will never understand that this is about legacy, not money. But legacy is no excuse for breaking the law." There were unexplained artifacts, shady money flows, and notes that pointed to a planned cover-up, and Mike Wolfe was named the main suspect in a federal investigation. The case is being seen as possibly the biggest scandal in the history of American reality TV. On January 9, 2025, Mike Wolfe's federal trial began in Chicago with a lot of reporters and police present. The area outside the courthouse was tense, with many people still believing Mike was innocent. That there was a misunderstanding in court, but the evidence presented put most people to rest. The 39-page indictment listed 6 felonies, including illegal transportation of antiquities, international trafficking and cultural property, tax evasion, obstruction of justice, money laundering, and concealment of evidence in a case involving an unexplained death. Mike was given a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Prosecutors showed photos and videos of Mike that had not been released before. Wolfe making shady deals in illegal places. In one scene, Mike gives cash to a Syrian man in a Detroit garage in exchange for fake Roman coins. Prosecutors said this wasn't just Mike collecting antiques, but a pattern of illegal trading disguised as TV. Mike's former co-host Frank Fritz shocked the courtroom by talking about how Mike had changed over time, saying he had become obsessed with things no one else had. Frank also told the story of a wartime diary that Mike had kept. Taken and then sold on the black market was proof that things had gone too far. Mike's defense team didn't directly challenge the physical evidence. Instead, they tried to make the case that he was just an antiques fanatic stuck in a system he couldn't change. Mike was emotionless for most of the trial, but on the 31st day, when asked if he wanted to speak to the jury, he said, "I never thought of myself as a criminal. I just wanted to talk about what other people were very divided on this statement. Some praised Mike's courage, while others condemned it. In the end, it only took the judge 5 minutes to sentence Mike Wolfe to life in prison without parole and take away all of his ownership rights to the show and his brand. The fall of the empire came as a shock. Just 3 days after Wolfe was sentenced, History Channel announced that it had officially canceled American Pickers and removed all related content. The show's YouTube channel quietly deleted all of its old videos, and the official website was replaced with a short announcement. The FBI locked down storage facilities and did a month-long inventory, finding undocumented artifacts and items stolen from conflict zones like Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. Major auction houses like Saab and Christie's have started to look into transactions involving Mike Wolfe, with several high-profile sales being the subject of their attention. However, public opinion is still split, with some fans believing some people think Mike was being used as a scapegoat for a dark system, while others think he was just a part of a secret world that no one wants to reveal. A key detail in Mike Wolfe's case has continued to fuel public debate as a list of 17 documents was found in his vault. Among them were encrypted transactions and artifact markings, and on the last page of one document was the code Q7R3. VTI analysts and conspiracy theorists quickly figured it out, thinking it might be an acronym for a secret. A common theory is that Vatican could mean the Vatican, but there is no solid evidence. This code has made the story more complicated than just one man and one TV show. Another important document that was released was Mike's personal notebook, which had notes about filming the show and a special page with a single handwritten sentence that said the whole past should not be brought to light. This document was tightly folded and stuffed between unrelated papers, as if Mike meant for it to be found by accident. It has raised many questions about Mike's intentions and what he was really trying to hide. Currently, Mike is serving his sentence at the federal prison in Tiro, where he is alone and not talking to anyone or asking for any special help. In March 2025, a former associate of Mike's who asked to remain anonymous said that he had accepted his sentence and showed no signs of remorse in a closed-door hearing. An FBI representative said that investigation was still going on and that people involved in the case were still being watched. One of the unofficial people subpoenaed was the former programming director of American Pickers, who looked over the cut episodes, but no one knew if important scenes had been deleted, edited, or hidden on purpose. To understand what happened, we have to go back to when Mike Wolfe was born in 1964 in Joliet, Illinois. Mike grew up in a working-class family with a single mother. When he was young, he developed a special interest in things that other people threw away. While his friends collected baseball cards, Mike would dig through trash cans in the schoolyard looking for broken radios and old bikes. His favorite quote from those days was, "If people think it's worthless, it's worth keeping." Mike was in his 40s when American Pickers first aired in 2010, but his love of collecting antiques stayed the same. The show quickly became a phenomenon, with Mike and his partner Frank Fritz driving across the country in search of treasures from the past. Mike was loved not only for his knowledge of antiques, but also for his respect for his dealers and his genuine love for the job. However, a former coworker says Mike's passion slowly changed to reclaiming memories, especially as the show became more popular and that to keep people watching, each new item had to be more valuable than the last one. To do this, Mike started looking in places no one was supposed to go, like evidence lockers, black markets, and war zone vendors. No one knows exactly when the line between passion and breaking the law became fuzzy, but Mike wasn't just looking for things that other people didn't want. He was after artifacts that people were afraid to keep. In his mind, Mike may have thought he was doing the right thing by in the end. The law can't forgive actions based on personal beliefs. Mike Wolfe, now inmate number 42799D54, isn't the hero of the TV show he created, and his name has been erased from all public platforms. But the question still stands: was Mike Wolfe a man who used the past to make money, or was he the only one brave enough to protect it no matter what? Mike went from being a man who traveled across America collecting memories to a national TV star and then a convicted felon. Mike Wolfe was sentenced to life in prison. His story is a powerful reminder that the line between passion and wrongdoing isn't always clear, and that the truth will eventually come out. What do you think of Mike's sentence? Was he a victim of an unfair system, or did he cross the line of morality for personal gain? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date on more exciting stories.